our correspondent. See here, you can see Bank of Sharjah is having $2 correspondence in Chase. That is JP Morgan Chase Bank, that is in USA, Bank of New York. These two are the SWIFT code just for your reference. So dollar we are sending where, which is going to any part, maybe India, Australia, UK, Saudi, wherever it may be. We are sending to bank is sending to our USD correspondent. Every bank is having correspondence for each different currencies. For us, as of now, we have two correspondents for USD. They are JP Morgan Chase and Bank of New York. So all the USD transfers we are sending to our correspondent and instructing them to send to the beneficiary bank. Similarly, when we are considering euro, here also for euro we have three correspondent banks. UniCredit Bank, that's in Germany, Bank Intesa, that's in Italy, Credit Mutual in France. So if we get a transfer request from our customer for the transfer of euro, which means we will send to any of our correspondent bank. Correspondent bank means we are having payment link with those banks. So euro payments will go to any of these banks. From there, it will go to the final beneficiary bank. And similarly for GBP also, we are having one correspondent bank, that is NatWest in London, UK. So all GBP will go to our correspondent only. From there, it will go to any part of the world. For INR, we are having State Bank of India. So we will instruct the State Bank of India, wherever it may be, it is going to Federal Bank, Syndicate Bank, wherever it may be, we will send all INR transfers to our correspondent, that is State Bank of India. From there, it will go to the final beneficiary bank. Just now, as I told you about for India, as there is no IBAN, either we will use IFSC code, branch name or branch code. Normally SWIFT code is having 8 characters, whereas if there is a branch code also added, which means become 11. The last 3 numbers stands for the branch. So for Indian transfers, we need either bank name. With that, we need to enter bank name and address. This is only for USA. And another part is same thing for receipt. Receipt means bank is receiving money from outside the country, which means somebody is sending to our customers. So in that case, that is also coming through correspondent, our corresponding bank. So every day we need to check our corresponding bank statements to make sure the amount is received. When amount is received, we will check the amount, the details, and full name and address of beneficiary. As I mentioned earlier, for Saudi and UAE, IBAN is mandatory and full name. For example, if a company name is AKJ plus General Trading LLC, customer sent only the name is AKJ. So the name is not matching with our record. So we will ask for the proof, invoice or anything, we will contact the customer. For everything, we will contact the branch. Head office do not have contact with the customers. Branch will contact the customer for any clarification or any more details. And so when the amount is received, it means we will credit the customer's account. And two more departments I have to mention here: compliance department and chief dealer. Chief dealer means he is managing the foreign exchange. He will make sure money is available in our correspondent bank. And he is trading in currencies. For example, if we need special rate for a priority customer or even for staff also, and for big amounts as well, we are asking for a special rate, or whether we want to transfer a big amount to another bank. So we need to make sure money is available in our correspondent bank. That will be done after confirming with our chief dealer. Every bank is having a chief dealer. He is actually trading the currency. And complaints department, each payments and receipts is screened by the complaints department. Especially remittance information should be correct. Means it should be justifiable. They will check the remittance information is correct. The details of the banks, the countries belonging to, everything is screened by the complaints department. Every bank is having complaints department. So if they feel something wrong, so more, if for example, if they need more details about remittance information, they are not satisfied with remittance information, what they do, they have the right to hold the payment. They will inform us because this transfer cannot be done, especially large amounts will be screened very carefully. We are very vigilant while handling with large amounts. So in that case, complaints will ask for more details if they need. They will inform us simultaneously. They will inform the branch. They will get the details from the customers. Then only we will release the payment. This is either in payment and receipt. Both the cases, all the transfers are screened by a department called the complaints department. And lastly, the one aided transfer. So because I am residing in UAE, so all aided transfers means all the transfers within the country, that is aided transfers, is done through Central Bank of UAE. In India, they have RBI. Similarly, we have Central Bank of UAE. It is a center point. All the transfers is going through the Central Bank of UAE. All the aided transfers are done like that. Now it's all regarding the payments and receipts of Forex department. Now I will go to the impact of COVID-19 in banking in GCC. This is our main part today. The impact of COVID-19 in the global economy and financial sector is still unpredictable. And GCC countries experienced the biggest economic challenge in 2020. Not only GCC countries, all the countries, this 2020 is an economic challenge. And as we know, the UAE maintains, if you consider UAE maintains a strong financial reserves and has a very strong and durable banking sector. So definitely it will have an impact. This will affect definitely the economy as well as the financial sector. And this is the reason why, since they have the very strong financial reserves, it is the safest, it is said that it is the safest place for investment. And another thing is, I will tell you a few areas it is highly affected. First one is energy. As we know, more than 80% of the revenue is derived from oil industry for GCC countries, especially Saudi, UAE, and Kuwait also. More than 80% of the income is derived from oil industry. Saudi is ranked as the largest oil producer in Middle East. Saudi, it's a very big country also. They are the world's largest petroleum exporters. They have the oil reserves of about 337 billion barrels with relatively low production cost. And Saudi, UAE, Kuwait is the important, the major GCC countries which produces petroleum, natural gas and crude oil also. You can show this slide for that. See, here we can see the main income derives from energy, that is petroleum. See, when there was lockdown and slowdown of business, it declined the demand for oil. So the companies are forced to reduce the production of oil during the last few months. As a result, oil price went down. Definitely, it will have an impact on the economy of GCC countries as a whole. And another important sector is tourism and leisure. As we know, Dubai is one of the main tourist attractions in the world. Last year, Dubai welcomed 16.73 million tourists in the last year, that is in 2017. Dubai welcomed 16.73 million tourists. Due to these travel restrictions and closure of airports, and this is highly affected. Tourism industry is highly affected. So it is have a adverse impact on the economy and financial sectors. And you must be heard that KSA, that is Saudi Arabia, suspended Umrah this year for the first time. They suspended Umrah for outsiders because of the situation. And Oman also, there is a place called Salala. We call it as mini Kerala. It's a very beautiful place with greenery and waterfalls. There also, it's a very beautiful place for tourism, same like Dubai, something like Dubai. So there also, in short, all these are affected. The oil price reduced as well as the tourism. Especially Dubai is it's a hub for tourism. Okay, now next another important sector is transport and aviation. Globally, 70% of the traffic, air traffic, has been declined comparing to the previous year. And demand for transport also reduced. Airline industry is one of the main important sector got affected, because just imagine 70% of the air traffic has been declined compared to the last year. So airline industry, we know these airports are closed, so airline industry stops. So they cannot do anything because of this situation. Then retail and trade, and this is the main thing. Especially Dubai or other GCC countries, Saudi also, it's a main hub for business and trade. So if there is no movement, there is no shopping facilities due to this restrictions on trading and all. So there is no business, slow movement of business, because here most of the people were working from home. So we cannot say it's a complete stop. It was working, but comparing with Dubai situation is very fast life here, very fast moving. Everyone is busy, business, retail, everything busy life here. So that everything, all these retail business and everything got a slow movement during the last few months because of the pandemic situation. And another thing is retail industry. As I mentioned earlier, UAE maintains a strong financial reserve and durable banking sector. Durable banking sector, it is a safe place for investment, either in business or purchasing a property. It is the safest place, I would say. But in the current situation, banks tighten the credit standards. Banks are forced to tighten the credit standards because, as Sheila Hema mentioned, job loss is there, reduction of salary is there. The employees are forced to reduce their salary to 50% to 75%. Because of the current situation, some people lost job. In that situation, banks also forced to tighten the credit standards. Banks are reluctant to approve new loans and credit cards because of the current situation. And the analyst says it is expected that overall GDP will reduce or contract by 4.4% in 2020. It's about GCC countries. And oil GDP is projected to contract by 5.3% due to the reduction in production agreement. And whereas non-oil GDP would contract by 3.8%. So this is how the GDP is coming from. GDP, of course, GDP is the main indicator of economic growth. So because of this production and services are not able to go smoothly like before, which means definitely it will have an adverse effects on GDP. So it will affect the economy as well as the business, this financial sector. Okay, it's all about the areas where it is affected and how it is affected the different important sectors, the significant sectors of the country. Now, about the current situation. Okay, because now we know the situation is picking up here, especially in GCC countries. So as for the current situation is getting better. Business are picking up as of now. Now because last 1.5 months now the situation is changing. And everyone believe that growth will resume in 2021. Now, 2-3 factors I want to tell you, that is the partial oil production is started, and private sector and non-oil activities also picking up now. And similarly, tourism. I think you must be knowing last July 7th, Dubai again started welcoming tourists from outside the country. It's a good sign. And so tourism also coming up. So tourists also started visiting the countries. Now I will tell you. My experience I can tell you in this government, UAE government, they have taken a very good measures from the beginning to control this. Now everything coming under control. Now the cases are less, active cases are less, because Saudi also, it's a very big country, and the population is also very high. So now the situation is, now this active cases are less, and new cases reporting also less compared to the previous situation. And recovery rate is more than 82% now in GCC. Especially when I'm talking about UAE, the government also supported very well in this pandemic situation. And in my experience, I can tell you about my bank. In the initial stage, that is March-April situation, bank decided, because as I told, I am in operations. So bank decided to work from 2 locations, which means they divided our group into 2, and one group was working as usual from the head office, and another batch was transferred to another location. So the main intention was, if one batch is affected, we can resume the work from another batch. So this was the purpose behind that. The bank took timely decision that they have divided our group. Some staff, that is old age people, and those who are having medical issues, and some people, some departments can work from home. But for us, as we are in operations, we need to work. This is the reason why timely they took the decision, they divided our group into 2, and we started working from 2 locations. It was done for 2 weeks. Then after that, they took the decision, we will work together from the same building, but on rotation basis. Which means one batch will work for 1 week, and while the others stay at home. Then next week, they will work and we stay at home. The intention is the same, because should not be interrupted. The operation should not get interrupted. Like that, we were planned like that. So our management, not only the management, even the government, was very supportive. As I mentioned earlier, they will be monitoring the situation every week. Then they will guide us accordingly. It is to protect the staff as well as the family. So after 2 months, I told you we were working on rotation basis. After 2 months, again they decided to work together, because the problem was, when we divided into 2 group means only one batch is working. Half of the staffs only working, which means workload was more. As we are in operations, month end and beginning of the month is very hectic. So because of the situation, we did like that for 2 months. We forced to do on rotation basis. After that, management again decided to work together in the same building but in different floors. Right now, we are working like that. We are in the same building but different floors. We are not allowed to meet each other, because now the situation is cool, but still for safer side, this operation team is working in different floors to avoid the risk of the operation should not get affected. So what I mean to say is, even the institutions, government, everyone was monitoring that, because it is, of course, it is a new experience for everyone. So they will monitor the situation accordingly. They will take timely decisions and guide us accordingly. Still, we are working, but in the different floors. And almost all the companies now started working in full strength. And even our bank also, before I told you that old age people and also having medical issues, they were allowed. And some departments also, they can work from home. That's enough. But now all are together, because not only in our bank, all the companies now government advised to work in full strength. Now, some support from the government side, I will mention here. The UAE Central Bank instructed us not to charge, not to take commission for all the transfers within the country, which means we are transferring the amount from debiting the account or crediting the account. When the cash is going or receiving, we are not taking any processing charges or commission from our customers for the last 4 months. This is as per the instruction from the Central Bank, UAE Central Bank. And moreover, this year we need to pay VAT for 3 months. Every quarterly, business people need to pay VAT on their sales. So last quarter VAT, they extended, the time limit was extended for 1 more month. It is a help for the business people. And municipality fee also reduced, and 20% of the electricity bill was waived for corporate accounts, for companies. And you must be knowing the visa, if our visa is expired, automatically it was renewed till December 2024 all. Because the situation, this government is doing their level best to protect us, to face the situation. And another thing is, I also got benefited this school fee. As per the instruction from the government, this schools were allowed to collect only 50% of the fee from those affected people, those who are affected. Of course, we needn't pay the best fee, because for my son, I already paid. After KG, he is going to grade 1. So in advance, at the time of admission, I took in January. That time we need to pay in advance the school fee and bus fee. So here the academic year will start in April. When the April started, this situation was like this. So immediately they shifted to online classes. That time, this government rule came. This 50% only should be collected from the children, from those who are affected. So first 2 months I didn't pay also, because bus fee also even I paid in advance. So it got adjusted. So it was a great help for common families as well as for children. So they resumed online classes, and very efficiently it was going on. Now this here school vacation is going for 2 months. Now September, we hopefully the school will open. That is how they are planning now. The government is doing all precautionary measures to finish. Now you can see the cases are very less now compared to the previous, like March, April situation. Now cases are very less, new cases are very less, and recovery rate is very high, more than 82%. So it's a great relief for us. Now, this Abu Dhabi Social Development Department, they have conducted a survey on the topic life after COVID. It was done on 2-3 days before they released the result of that, in which 92% of the people, it was among 47,000 people, in which 92% of the people say that at the end of this year, we can go, this normal life is possible. We will go back to the normal life. And also they added, they trust the government and the rulers, because that is efficiently, very efficiently they handle the situation. So 92% of the people say in 2020 itself, by the end of 2020, we can lead a normal life. Whereas the rest of the people say it will take another 6 months for a normal life. This is how optimistic they are. Including myself, I also have the same opinion, because by the end of this month, we can go for a normal life. The life will be back. So already partial production business also started. Tourists also attracted. Now, yesterday it was said they are in between UAE and India, they're starting the flight service also for 1 month something. Now, and as I told you, a few people lost a job also in this situation. 63% of the job losers believe that they can find a new job, because as we know, the economy will bounce back as far as GCC countries are concerned, because there will be demand for oil anyway. Now, because of the situation, okay, now it is slow moving. Yeah, that's true. But after some time, when the aviation started, when the airports are open, when this roads, transport, everything is back to normal, which means oil price will go up. In that time, there will be need for job opportunities will be there. So 63% of the people say that job losers, they said that they can find a new job in the next few months. It's also a good sign. So in short, I can say that as of now, the current situation is it's almost back to normal. Active cases are less, new cases are coming down, economy is booming, slowly started booming, financial sector is normally coming back. So hopefully after the 2-3 months, at the end of this year, everything will be back to normal. This is what we strongly believe. That is the end of this session. So if anyone need to ask me something, they can ask now. Nationalization policies. Migrants are there. So of course it will have an impact on the economy as well, and vice versa. Current, somebody want to see the current situation, so 1 second I will show the current situation. Only I will show the current situation, okay? I think now you can see. Just only the bullet points I have given. I explained very well, I hope. Is that fine? Okay, any more questions? What about the effect to the banking job sector due to COVID? It's a very good question. Because recently one of my colleagues' husband also lost job. He was in credit, which means he was dealing with corporate loans. I think I mentioned earlier, because now the banks are not sanctioning loans as well as credit cards. Because now the situation is like that. Now the repayment capacity is less because of the reduction in salary as well as job loss. So banks are not sanctioning new loans, whatever it may be, corporate loans as well as personal loan and all. So credit cards also the same effect on credit cards also. So one of my colleagues' husband also was working in credit card section and corporate. He was dealing with corporate loans also, because they cannot do anything because that area was slowed down. So even every bank is having more people for its credit departments, because to attract the credit people for the selling of credit card loans, to attract the people towards these loans and all, there will be lot of staffs, I guess. So normally those banking sector will be affected, especially those who are working in credit card as well as the loan section and all. For us, we are in operations, and it is my bank is a semi-government. So for us, not affect, but some areas it is highly affected. Now it is back to normal, almost back to normal, and business is coming up, because my husband is also running business, so we know the moment in the market. So business is coming up now, especially I'm talking about GCC. Now, since the cases are cooled down now, so automatically will come up. Already started, the oil production partly started. Anything else, please? A lot of money flows from GCC countries to India. Do you think all transactions are made through banks? No. This is also a very good question. All the transactions are not done through banks. Money exchange is there. So in my opinion, most of the people are going for approaching money exchange for transfer. But all these are recorded by central bank. They need to provide all the details, even money exchange, whatever it may be, banks, money exchange, lots of money exchanges are there in every corner. So all those, the value of the money exchange rate, where it is going, all these details are sent to UAE Central Bank. So that is the main source of our record, main source of our data. Okay, guys. Then thank you so much. Thanks for be patient in my.
Sarvalaho Faustina Zisula, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to deliver a vote of thanks.